Can America's supposedly invincible MQ-9 Reaper drones really escape Iran's increasingly sophisticated and deadly firepower? Has the US already lost over a dozen high-value MQ-9 Reaper drones during just weeks of intense warfare with Iran? Did Iran destroy over $330 million worth of advanced US military assets in a matter of days through precision intercepts? Is high-value American air power taking repeated direct hits from Iranian defenses across Middle East skies daily? Can Iran credibly challenge even America's most advanced unmanned aerial systems with proven battlefield results? Does Trump still claim total dominance in Iran war when hard data reveals harsh battlefield realities instead? Has nearly $2 billion worth of critical US military assets been systematically wiped out in just 4 days of combat? American forces have sustained losses exceeding 12 MQ-9 Reaper drones during the recent exchanges with Iran, marking a notable depletion of key reconnaissance and strike assets. These drones were downed in flight or destroyed while stationary by Iranian defensive fire, according to details provided to ABC News from military sources. If verified, this attrition constitutes a substantial setback for the U.S. military's primary aerial platforms relied upon for persistent surveillance and precision engagements. The MQ-9 Reaper integrates advanced surveillance functions with strike capacity via Hellfire missiles, enabling multifaceted mission profiles in contested environments. This dual-role versatility transforms each loss into both a material expense and an operational hindrance, affecting intelligence gathering and response timelines. Financially, the toll proves considerable, with individual Reaper drones priced between roughly $30 million and $32 million apiece in production and sustainment costs. Aggregated, these incidents translate to over $330 million in direct losses, underscoring the fiscal dimensions of prolonged aerial operations. Such outcomes also illustrate the proficiency of Iranian countermeasures against sophisticated U.S. high-value aerial systems in defensive scenarios. A senior Iranian intelligence official addressed Press TV on March 17, outlining verified U.S. equipment and personnel casualties in detail. The official disclosed severe reductions in air defense inventories for both U.S. and Israeli forces, impacting forward deployed capabilities significantly. Additionally, the officer stated at least 200 U.S. personnel fatalities and more than 3,000 wounded occurred within the conflict's opening week. The U.S. has allocated approximately $12 billion toward its campaign against Iran thus far, as disclosed by a Trump advisor during a broadcast interview. This sum was articulated by Kevin Hassett on CBS's Face the Nation, reflecting comprehensive expenditure tracking from recent operational briefings. The projection encapsulates the multifaceted costs incurred across logistics, munitions, and sustainment since hostilities commenced. CBS highlighted that munitions consumption alone surpassed $5 billion in the first week, driven by intensive strike tempo. Hassett accepted the figure without contradiction, asserting the overall economic strain stayed within tolerable thresholds for national finances. He suggested markets had proactively priced in anticipated energy price moderation following eventual tension reductions. Hassett's assessment diverges from public unease among U.S. consumers facing elevated energy costs amid supply uncertainties. Hassett further posited that Hormuz disruptions would burden oil-dependent economies more acutely than the relatively insulated United States. Yet, alternative voices within officialdom suggest campaign escalation, portending further escalation in associated expenditures. These fiscal pressures emerge alongside documentation of substantial U.S. material losses since the Iran engagement initiated on February 28. U.S. assets totaling nearly $2 billion have been compromised, per data compiled by Anadolu Agency from verified strike outcomes. Predominant among these is the US/FPS 132 early warning radar stationed in Qatar, central to regional airspace vigilance. The Al Udeid Air Base radar, appraised at $1.1 billion, fell to an Iranian missile impact on February 28, disrupting surveillance networks. Iran additionally targeted the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in Manama, Bahrain, on February 28 with precision munitions. The strikes neutralized 2 satellite communications terminals alongside several substantial structures at the facility. The affected and GSC-52BS SATCOM terminals, each valued around $20 million, represented high-priority communication nodes. Iran further asserted destruction of the N/TPY-2 radar element integral to a U.S. THAAD battery deployment. This unit was positioned at Al Ruwais Industrial City within the United Arab Emirates for threat monitoring. The radar module's estimated $500 million replacement value compounds the aggregate equipment attrition. Collectively, these engagements have inflicted approximately $1.902 billion in damage to U.S. military holdings across the Middle East theater. Escalating expenditures coupled with inventory drawdowns have prompted apprehension in Western capitals regarding sustainability in a protracted conflict with Iran.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.